Good day. This is my weekly reflection for March 3 to 10. This week I had the chance to be doing a task in a historical and mesmerizing landmark, Norwich Castle. We were tasked to make either a 3-minute vlog, blog, or voice record in a specific part of the castle. As a media student, I chose to create a vlog to showcase my creativity and thus chose the castle's chapel as the site to vlog on. Now, this was a process that ended up teaching me how a lack of preparation and even poor time management can completely ruin a project. So, last Thursday, I spent the day on location gathering all my raw clips and audio, and then this morning, I started my very first day of editing using Adobe Premiere Pro so that I can try and piece the clips together. Last week, before heading out to the castle, I made the decision to buy a set of wireless noise cancelling microphones for my phone because I know that the castle itself has many tourists, and thus the loud tourist crowds may completely drown me out. So, looking at my files during my first rough edit today, I think buying those lapel mics was the best decision I made all week because the mics completely cut out the background chatter out of the museum and even kept my voice sounding crisp, proving that picking the right gear early saves you from hours of stressful audio cleaning later. However, my actual planning for Thursday's shoot was a total disaster because I completely forgot to do any research on the chapel before arriving, which went entirely against what my teachers told us to do. The immediate consequence, of course, was showing up with no script, and I couldn't even give a smooth, confident performance on camera. Instead, my brain completely froze, causing me to constantly stutter, even lose my train of thought, and feel incredibly nervous because of other museum visitors were standing around staring at me. So, to save the shoot on the spot, I had to quickly read information of the banners and cutouts inside the room and use my phone to Google extra facts regarding the chapel, which kept the project going but made my delivery look weak and awkward because I was just reading information off a wall rather than talking naturally. My time management was also terrible because I took a long tour of the castle grounds first, looking in different sites, and spent ages helping my two friends film their projects before even starting on my own. And so that left me with less than an hour of a 3 hour limit before the museum closed down. And this meant I had to rush my opening introduction sequence at the very end in just a few quick takes in front of the castle, which made my body language look incredibly stressed instead of welcoming and energetic. Furthermore, because I ran out of time, I didn't shoot any backup footages, extra angles, or different takes of myself speaking, which completely locked me into a major corner when I sat down on edit this morning. This severe lack of clips became a huge headache today because I realized I was completely restricted by my limited footage, and so I had to work with a tiny pool of massive videos full of long pauses, even false starts and deep breaths and stutters before I spoke. Because of this, I was unable to make any major visual changes to the project during my first day of editing, meaning I couldn't change the layout or swap out the bad takes where I looked nervous. So instead of changing the visual story, I had to focus entirely on tiny adjustments on the timeline, using the tight cuts to chop out my long pauses and trying to make the small amount of footage look as good as possible. But despite the stress of having so few clips, I genuinely enjoyed the problem solving side of editing today. I don't know why, but especially when I use some quick online tutorials on YouTube to fix a frustrating technical glitch where The video colors from my iPhone shifted and looked completely washed out the second I dragged them from my phone into Premiere Pro. And so learning that this happened because my phone shoots in a specific what they call HDR color profile that didn't match the software standard workplace, and then tweaking the setting to become rich and true colors of the castle walls that became back to life. It felt like a massive win. So I also really love learning how to use digital zoom tools on the timeline so that I can manually add subtle scale changes to my boring tripod shots, which helped hide the fact that I was standing completely still and made the footage feel a bit more moving and alive. And this lack of alternative clips became a real challenge when my teacher reviewed my rough cut this afternoon and gave me some critical feedback, telling me that my video felt like a slow documentary instead of a fun, punchy vlog because my voice sounded too quiet and flat. My medieval music choice was somehow depressing, and some of my static tripod shots were just too stiff instead of showing my personal point of view. Since I physically didn't have the extra footage to change the shots or show my personal perspective, I used my teacher's advice to completely fix the audio side of the project instead. I went back into the timeline and swapped out the slow music for an upbeat, rhythmic background music, which instantly forced the energy up and made the slow visual cuts feel like they were moving much faster, even though this first day of editing has revealed so many errors in how I work. I am 50% confident that I can fix these issues and finish the project before the submission deadline. So ultimately, using the vlog experience as a direct guide for the professional final film I have to make in a couple of weeks now, I am going to keep every single one of these technical, planning, and time management lessons in mind. When it comes to making, shooting, and editing my final film, I hope I can make the whole process way less of a hassle because I had actively looked at these mistakes from my vlog and understand exactly how to avoid them next time. So for my final film, I will implement a strict rule where I am not allowed to even pack my camera gears until a complete script and even shot list are written down, which of course will stop my brain from freezing on camera and make sure I don't waste time filming random, unusable videos. I will also use my experience with the phone color glitch to pre-test my camera settings with Premiere Pro before the real shoot happens, ensuring that my footage looks perfect from day one. And most importantly, I will manage my time much more selfishly on location during the final film shoot, making sure I secure all my core scenes, close ups, and even my backup cutaways first before I spend any time helping my classmate or exploring the area, which will give me plenty of clips to work with in the editing suite. And by turning my technical color issues, my lack of research, and my bad scheduling into clear learning points, I have proven somehow that I can look honestly at my flaws and find creative ways to make a project look good, even when things go sideways, which will make my next final production much more organized, professional, and even successful. Thank you.